So my query to you over here is that if you put a Azure this thing firewall or something, so does it carry the header information which contains the original IP address of the client?
Yes.
Because
So in that scenario, see, when we use Azure firewall, in that scenario, that we need to check with the Microsoft because we are using a patch service. But when you use the infrastructure as a service with the third party load balancer, okay, like Palo Alto or FortiGate or SonicWall, in that scenario, we should get the like source IP into the firewall.
we checked the in Radware
Mhm.
load balance Radware firewall. Even if you forward you put a X forwarding which is enabled on the firewall.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't it since WAP is setting web application proxy as a reverse proxy solution, so it is documented on the Microsoft links that since WAP functionality is that it will not allow the original, it will hold that request and put a new IP which logs you into IS the virtual IP of the WAP IP or WAP load balancer, or it will not provide you the original source IP request.
Okay,
So
so that in that scenario where you deployed the WAF, okay, in front of firewall or behind the firewall?
WAP is behind the firewall.
Okay, okay.
So
Because if
my
you are deploying the WAF behind the firewall, then you should get the IP address, source IP address into the firewall first.
Right. So problem is what where the firewall Radware firewall, it doesn't hold the historic logs. So it will show you the running logs,
No,
connection, running
then
connection.
this is a functionality of your firewall, right? So that's why I said you in that scenario we should try the Palo Alto or FortiGate or SonicWall or Cisco ASA, right?
So
So yes.
means I'm just coming asking you one suggestion that
Uh-huh.
if we instead of WAP, so WAP
Right,
doesn't has a web application proxy 2016 Windows
right,
Server 2016. Okay,
right, right,
that
right.
does not that does not you do not have any option to logging of options of the source IP into that. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So like, but if you see Apache or something like that from the
Uh-huh.
Linux front, so
Uh-huh.
Apache and all that, they say that they have an option to log the original client IP address into their logs from where the connection is being initiated.
Okay.
So any idea on that? Like, because
Yes,
on
yes, I have
Ex-
idea. So like you are using a Windows WAF, right? A Windows machine as a web service.
you're right, Windows inbuilt, which works as a
Yeah, Windows
2016
Server,
Windows
which
application
is
proxy,
2016.
which right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it acts as a reverse proxy solution. But the problem is that it cannot there is no logging mechanism where you can capture the original client IP address, because that is the
Okay.
functionality of a reverse proxy.
Mhm.
It will not
So what you need to do in such scenarios, okay, if Microsoft is saying like that capability is not holding Windows 2K16 web service, so like into the Microsoft, see this is infra, so that particular WAF you are using and which is comes under IaaS, infrastructure as a service. So now we'll in next sessions we will talk on a Azure WAF, which is comes under
okay.
PaaS service. Which is comes under patch service. So will give us very small example, okay, but which is very important to clear the interview, and you can have the same scenario in your CV as well. So this is the firewall, this is Azure infrastructure, this is Azure, let's see, East US, and you have deployed a FortiGate firewall on Azure. So last week we have discussed like how to deploy, how to design, how it works. Okay, so this is FortiGate firewall, and your FortiGate firewall is the responsible, okay, for incoming traffic which is coming from internet and on-premise as well. Okay, so this is your on-premises data center. This is your on-prem data center now. On-prem data center, and your on-prem data center is having also one FortiGate firewall. Let's see FortiGate or any third party. Let's see Cisco SA. Cisco SA. Okay, and you establish the connectivity between on-prem to cloud-prem by using two firewalls. Okay, and this is the site-to-site VPN I'm talking now. Site-to-site VPN. Now your firewall is responsible for incoming traffic as well, which is incoming from internet, which is coming from internet traffic. Okay, so this is my internet traffic now. Okay, this is internet traffic, and that internet traffic is directly hitting on your firewall. Okay, so let's take an example. This is my firewall which is deployed on Microsoft Azure, and in the back end, like we have DMZ VNet. Now again we have production VNet and we have test VNet. Okay, so we'll focus on DMZ and production only. So this is my DMZ VNet, and this is the production VNet. Right under the DMZ VNet, like I have all the web servers, okay, which is very critical web servers and which is published over the internet. All the web applications or websites we have. So this is my web servers, web servers, web servers, websites. Okay. Okay. Now, so when you talk on a security part, okay. So what is the recommendation here is recommendation is in between your FortiGate firewall and your actual web server. So this is web server, right? This is your web server. This is your web application. This is your application. This is your application. So in between your firewall and your web servers, you should have one more component, and that component is nothing but Azure WAF. Okay, now see, instead of Azure WAF, you can have a FortiGate WAF as well. You will get the Cisco WAF as well. So there are multiple products. Now you have to decide which product you wanted to use. Okay, so when you use Azure WAF, which is comes under PaaS service, platform as a service, everything managed by Microsoft in the backend. But when you talk on a third-party solutions like FortiGate also providing the WAF appliance, your Cisco also providing the WAF appliance, your Palo Alto also providing the WAF appliance. So when you deploy that appliance, again that particular appliance comes under infrastructure as a service, as we discussed last week. Like when we deploy a third-party solution, okay, on top of Microsoft Azure, it comes under a infrastructure as a service where we need to manage a Windows, we need to manage the virtual machine and we need to manage the operating system as well. But into the PaaS services, what is the benefit we will get from Microsoft? We are going to manage only the Azure WAF. We are not going to manage the appliance which is getting deployed in the backend. So if your user is hitting from outside, the first request is hitting on your firewall. Via firewall, that request is getting forwarded to WAF, any WAF solution, either Azure WAF or third-party WAF, and via WAF, then your user is accessing the web server or your web application. So this is a one more layer security between your firewall and your web servers. Okay, so in such scenarios you will get the source IP. Like Irfan was saying, like there is no functionality to record the source IP address into the WAF, okay, which Windows Server 2K16 is providing, right? So when you deploy that particular solution, so definitely you will get the source IP. You can record the source IP inside the firewall and inside the Azure WAF as well. So any question till Irfan?
So in Azure, can you import a third-party firewall?
Yes, yes, we can. Last week we have discussed how to design, how to deploy, how to configure as well.
No, like I have a Radware firewall, so can I import that on the cloud which we have?
So Radware, I need to check into the Microsoft marketplace. But yes, definitely we can have FortiGate, Palo Alto, Sonic Wall, then Cisco ASA. Those firewalls we can have.
So these settings will, do we need to, comes with the default setting or do we need to configure it?
No, that setting means which setting you are asking? Firewall setting or WAF setting?
WAF, Azure Fire WAF, which we there by default.
Ha ha ha. No, this is the
So
service
in that
you
case,
need to, yeah, you need to purchase that service. Okay, so Radware firewall we can check. Okay, we can check into the marketplace. Okay, let me just give me 1 minute. Okay, so that service we need to purchase here. See, WAF, web application firewall. Okay, so you need to purchase that service and then you can configure that particular WAF in between your third-party firewall and your actual infrastructure.
so for testing purpose, if we take the pay-as-you-go account, so how much they charge for a WAF, Azure
So
WAF?
WAF around 15 to 20 rupees per hour you will get, not more than 30 rupees.
Not more than 30 rupees.
Hmm, hmm. Okay, so let's go into the site-to-site VPN. Okay, now today we'll focus on Azure VPN gateway. Again, Azure VPN gateway comes under patch service. Then we'll understand how to configure site to site VPN between on-prem and Azure. Okay, so this is the first scenario, or before that we can have one more scenario. How to configure site to site VPN between two Azure account, your different account. Okay, different account, but here we will use VPN gateway at both side. VPN gateway. Okay, so just try to understand the scenario. Into the first scenario, your source and destination both on a Azure platform. In second scenario, your source is your physical data center, okay, where you have a FortiGate firewall, and that particular data center you wanted to connect into the Microsoft Azure by using the site-to-site VPN. Okay, so we'll understand the both scenarios, and if we get time today, then we'll understand how to configure point to site VPN by using VPN gateway. Okay, so VPN gateway is the service. Okay, let's understand the VPN gateway. So Azure VPN gateway. Okay, so Azure VPN gateway is responsible for site-to-site VPN and point-to-site VPN. Okay, so site-to-site is nothing but Azure to Azure. You can establish the connectivity, then AWS to Azure, Google to Microsoft Azure, on-prem to cloud-prem as well. And point-to-site VPN is nothing but this is your VPN thing, like you are working from home, right? So before that, you're connecting to your office VPN. With the same way, you can configure the point-to-site VPN by using the Azure VPN gateway. So VPN gateway is the service, and we'll understand how it works. So this is infrastructure. And this is my VNet. So let me configure here one VNet. VNet. Here some 172 range, 172, let's say 20, 0.0/16. So last week we have discussed a firewall. So I will involve your firewall as well. Then you will get the more clarity. So this is the first subnet where you are deployed the Azure firewall, and this is the second subnet where you are going to deploy VPN gateway. So this is my Azure firewall subnet, and this is the hard coded 1.0/24, and this is my gateway subnet. Again, same thing, gateway subnet. Your name should be the same every time. Okay, if you configure the subnet name with the different name, so you will not able to deploy a VPN gateway. Again, you will not able to deploy a firewall as well. If you wanted to deploy a firewall, you should use the same name. Okay, so this is the hard coded, and this is a 2.0. Okay, so VPN gateway is the service which Microsoft is offering where we can connect on-premise infrastructure to Azure infrastructure. Okay, so this is my VPN gateway. VPN gateway. Okay, again, when we compare with the firewall, is the same architecture Microsoft is offering. So when you deploy the VPN gateway, Microsoft is offering the two interfaces. So this is your LAN interface. Okay, and you will get one more interface as a front end, which is your WAN interface with the public IP. So WAN interface with public IP. Public IP. Okay, so that WAN interface, and this is a LAN interface. Your LAN interface is getting connected with the backend subnet, and that subnet is nothing but 172.22.0/24. And this is a front end interface. This is a WAN interface, not LAN. This is a WAN interface. Okay, so I have physical data center as well. This is my on-premises data center, and into the on-premises data center again we are using the firewall. So any firewall, you can have any firewall like FortiGate, Cisco ASA. Okay, and from that firewall you can have the connectivity between your on-prem to cloud-prem. Okay, so when you compare with the Azure firewall, so Azure firewall is the responsible for only the web traffic. Your Azure firewall is not supported the IPsec traffic. So IPsec traffic is nothing but your IPsec tunnel, okay, which is your site to site tunnel. So if your management, or if you're saying no, I wanted to use only the Microsoft services, so in that scenario you have to deploy Azure firewall, okay, for the incoming traffic, internet incoming traffic, and you have to deploy one more service which is gateways, and that gateway is the responsible for your connectivity, okay, on-prem to cloud-prem. So you have to deploy two components, Azure firewall and VPN gateway. But when you talk on a third-party appliances, let's see Cisco ASA or FortiGate or SonicWall, in that scenario, your both tasks can be done by using a single appliance. Let me have one more diagram which we have discussed last week. Firewall. Okay, so that particular diagram we have discussed last week, right? So last week we have discussed how we can design the infrastructure with the Azure firewall, and take the same diagram. Okay, so into the second scenario, I don't want to use VPN gateway. I don't want to use my firewall, Azure firewall as well. So instead of that, I wanted to use a third party appliance, which is FortiGate, which is Palo Alto. Okay, so this is my VNet. This is my VNet, and that VNet is getting segregated with the multiple subnets. Public facing and private facing. Subnet 172.21.0/24, and this is your private subnet. Which is 2.0. Okay, now here we are going to deploy a third party firewall. So The architecture, it remains same of all the firewalls when you deploy on Microsoft Azure, when you deploy on Google Cloud, when you deploy on AWS. So the architecture, it remains same every time of all the firewalls. So this is my FortiGate firewall. And FortiGate firewall is nothing but this is my virtual machine. As we discussed, FortiGate firewall comes under infrastructure as a service, right? So this is infrastructure as a service. Okay, this is my virtual machine, and that particular virtual machine having two network interfaces. This already we have discussed last week, right? So my first network interface, which is interacting with the public traffic, and my another interface is interacting with the private traffic. Okay, so when you deploy third party appliance, third party firewall, so no need to deploy two services like which we have discussed into the last scenario. When you have a Microsoft services like firewall or gateway, so almost you need to invest here 1,200 $1,200 per month, and then you can connect on-prem infrastructure. You can have internet traffic as well. But when you work on third party appliances, third party firewall, your third party appliances we can use for the both activities. Okay, your FortiGate firewall is supported the web traffic, it's supported the IPsec traffic as well. So directly we can have a connectivity between your on-prem to Microsoft Azure. You can create a site-to-site VPN. Site-to-site VPN, and by using the site-to-site VPN, you can communicate between your on-prem to cloud. Again, some appliances are supported with the SD-WAN functionality as well. So there is a one more concept. Okay, you will get into the industry, SD-WAN. Okay, so those appliances are supported for SD-WAN as well. Okay, if you wanted to deploy a express route, again this is a third service. Okay, Azure Express Route. Azure Express Route, in that scenario, then you have to use a VPN gateway only, because without VPN gateway you cannot deploy the express route. Okay, if you are planning to deploy a express route between your on-prem to cloud prem, which is dedicated connectivity, in such scenarios you should have a VPN gateway. So all the traffic will hit on VPN gateway by using the express route. Okay, so express route part we will discuss later. But if you wanted to configure site-to-site VPN SD-WAN, okay, you can use the third-party appliances. You can use the Microsoft appliances as well. So any question till any doubt? Irfan, any question till?
Hello, Yogesh.
Yes.
Can you explain the SD-WAN and Azure a little bit more?
Yeah, SD-WAN.
Azure.
SD-WAN we will discuss later. Okay. So today we are not going to discuss SD-WAN. Just for the example, okay, I have mentioned there because we have three type of connectivity between
Yeah.
on-prem to cloud prem. Out of three type, today we are going to discuss only site-to-site VPN.
Okay.
Okay. Irfan, any question?
I have one query.
Yes.
Site-to-site VPN and express route. So in
Uh-huh.
site-to-site VPN, you are say that you need this one like a third-party firewall or FortiGate firewall you can use, which will function as both the things. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
and if this is working, then
Huh.
why customer would go for express route? Means ultimately it comes to the cost, right?
Yes, yes. So the you're asking very logical question. See, when you deploy or when you configure the site-to-site VPN, all the traffic is routed via internet. Okay, and again, it completely depend on your internet connectivity. So the speed will be a vary every time. Okay, but if you are looking a dedicated connectivity, okay, so dedicated connectivity, if you want it, then you can have SD-WAN or express route. Okay, so express route is a dedicated connectivity between your premises to the Microsoft infrastructure. Like you can compare your MPLS between MPLS with your express route. So MPLS also dedicated connectivity with the same way Microsoft is offering the express route, which is dedicated connectivity with the actual bandwidth you will get. But when you work on site-to-site VPN, okay, you will not get the actual bandwidth or actual throughput. The throughput is completely depend on the speed of your internet. So when you do
Means
the
sorry to interrupt. So means
yeah,
site to site VPN means via internet means definitely you will go towards internet. Then you are coming from outside. Like it will be a public IP, and then you are entering again back into the premises.
exactly. Yes, yes. So that particular channel, that particular tunnel will be an encrypted tunnel, but all the data is traveled by internet only. Okay. So you will get the one public IP here. Public IP. You will
Okay,
get
got it.
public IP here as well. Yeah. Public IP. So this is the encrypted tunnel, but again over the internet, okay, that particular data is traveling. So when you use a express route, is a dedicated connectivity, okay, and that particular connectivity is nothing but your Tata is providing, your Airtel is providing, okay, in India. So this is the dedicated connectivity between on-prem to cloud-prem, which is very secure compared to site-to-site VPN. Okay, so let's go into the our lab. Okay, now VPN gateway. So we'll understand how it works. The VPN gateway. We'll understand the scenario. Like I have one scenario. I have two companies. This is IBM company, HP company. So they wanted to communicate their infrastructure, and both infrastructure are getting deployed on Microsoft Azure. Azure East US, we can say, and this is Azure Central US, West US. So IBM wanted to communicate with the HP infrastructure, and HP wanted to communicate with the IBM infrastructure. Okay, for one of the project. Okay, and both are using the VPN gateways. Okay, at their side, both companies are using the VPN gateway. So you can have a mix environment as well. Like IBM is using a third-party solution, or HP is also using the third-party solution or VPN gateway. Okay, so we'll understand a VPN gateway first, and then we'll have one more scenario where we will use a third-party scenario appliances. So this is my VNet. VNet here 172. Let's see, 21 0.0/16. So I'm using the broader network here, which is 172.21.0.0. This is my IBM. Okay, and that particular VNet is getting segregated with the multiple subnets. So I have to create here gateway subnet. Gateway subnet. /24. And again, I have here one management subnet where I wanted to deploy some terminal server. Okay, so this is management subnet. One dot zero slash 24, and we'll configure here 2.0. Slash 24. Okay. Now again into the HP side, you have the VNet. HP VNet, and that HP VNet 172.22.0.0/16. So your IP should not overlap. Okay. If you are using some IP address, IP ranges here, so those IP ranges should not overlap. Okay. So you can use the same IP ranges, but when you create a connection between two infrastructure, again it will overlap. Okay. Then you should not use the same IP ranges. So that's why I'm going to use here 172.22.0.0, here 21.0.0. Okay. Again, same thing. I'm going to segregate the VNet with the multiple subnets. Gateway subnet. One 172.22.1.0/24. 0/24. Again, this is the management subnet. Management, which is 1.0. Okay. Now this is the network, right? Network we have designed at the both side, and now we are going to deploy a VPN gateway. So this is the VPN gateway. This is the VPN gateway at both side. Okay. So as we discussed into the last diagram, like when we deploy the VPN gateway, Microsoft is offering, or Microsoft is deploying that VPN gateway with the two interfaces every time. This is a default behavior. So this is a WAN interface, and this is the LAN interface. Okay, so this is the WAN interface, this is the LAN interface. So WAN interface, Microsoft is deploying with the public IP. So this is a WAN interface. With public IP. So WAN interface with the public IP. This is a LAN interface. And your LAN port is getting connected with your subnet. Your LAN port is getting connected with the subnet. So this is your LAN port now. This is your LAN port. Okay. So again here we are going to discuss one more service. So first service we have discussed Azure VPN gateway. Okay. And now there is a one more service we need to use, local VPN gateway. So local VPN gateway is nothing but it's a information of your next hop, right? So when you configure the VPN gateway, you'll get one public IP. So let's take up example. This is your public IP. This is your public IP, or we can say 1.1.1.1. This is your public IP, and 2.2.2.2. This is your public IP of your another VPN gateway. So during the connection creation, so what we need to do, we need to create a connection between two infrastructure. So when you create a connection between two public IPs, we need to configure the local VPN gateway here. So local VPN gateway is nothing but it's the information of your next hop. So when you configure the two, now here we need to create a two connections, right? So first connection you need to create between IBM to HP. Second connection we need to create at HP side, which is HP to IBM, right? So when you configure the connection between IBM to HP, so under the IBM means at the IBM side, we need to configure local VPN gateway. Local VPN gateway, right? So local VPN gateway is nothing but public IP information okay. So when you create a connection between IBM to HP as a local VPN gateway, we need to configure the IP address of your HP. So this is the next hop, right? So this is the source, this is the destination. So we need to provide the details of destination. So this is the first requirement, right? And second, again, during the connection creation, we should have the local network details. So what is the local network details of HP? 172, right? 172.22.0.0/16. So once you configure the public IP of HP, local infrastructure, local network of the HP, and then you can have the connection between your IBM to HP. The same thing you need to do when you create a connection between HP to IBM. You need to provide all the details from IBM side, public IP and your local network detail as well. So this is the local VPN gateway, and again we would require some passcode. So passcode is nothing but it's a password, it's a pre-shared key, and that pre-shared key should be a same into the both connections because we are going to deploy two connections, IBM to HP and HP to IBM. So if you are not using the same pre-shared key, then your site-to-site VPN will site-to-site tunnel will not generate. So that particular tunnel, okay, during the tunnel creation, it will check the pre-shared key, and that key needs to be used same at the both side. So any question till any doubt till once you prepare the connection at both side, then your terminal server should communicate with your other terminal server. So this is my TS server. This is my TS server. Then it should communicate. It should communicate. Okay. So if you have a backend infrastructure, let's see, this is VNet, this is VNet, this is VNet. Again, this is the production VNet, this is the test VNet, this is the QA VNet. So all the VNet will communicate with all other VNets because you need to allow the ranges. So if you configure here some network or some VNet and subnet, let's say 192.168.1.0/24. So that particular network should be allow into that particular connection. Okay, वो आपको यहाँ पे allow करना पड़ेगा. Then once you allow that particular network, then your IBM infrastructure can communicate with your production HP production. So this is my HP product. Okay. So with the same way, you need to allow all the IP ranges, okay, inside the local VPN gateway, and then you can have the connectivity or communication between two infrastructure. Any question till? Any doubt till?
So this local VPN gateway is a different term than site-to-site VPN, correct?
Yes, yes. So side to side is a connection. Side to side is a type of your connection. Okay. So you can have side to side connection between two physical data center as well. Okay. But VPN gateway, local VPN gateway is a term from only the Microsoft Azure.
Oh, okay.
Any question, Irfan? Any doubt? Any question till? Samir, any question? It's very important when you go for the interview. So your people will ask the same questions, right? So this is all the scenario, okay, which we are going to discuss. Okay, so let's go into the portal. So what we are going to do now, I have two different account and two different subscriptions. Okay, I have two different account and two different subscription. So we will use the both accounts here. Okay, so what we will do, IBM infrastructure we will configure under my account, which is no pune@outlook.com. Okay, under that particular account I have two subscriptions, and I have one more account, okay, with my personal email address. gmail.com. Okay, so use the another account, and under that account we will deploy the HP infrastructure, and then we'll do the connectivity between on-prem to cloud prem. Okay, so this is the cloud techno account, right? So go to the resource group first and deploy first IBM infrastructure. First, we need to design the network. So IBM VNet, and now which IP ranges we have discussed, 172.21, right? So 172.21 0.0/16. So first management subnet, management, which is 172.21 1.0/24. Let's create it. Okay, so VNet we have deployed, and when you go into the subnet, there is an option, create a gateway subnet. See, we can use a subnet and we can configure, we can put here gateway subnet, or we can directly click here gateway subnet. See, is a hard coded, we cannot change the name, gateway subnet. Okay, so gateway subnet with 2.0. Now this is my gateway subnet. Okay, so if you do not have gateway subnet, then during the gateway deployment, okay, Microsoft will give the warning like there is no gateway subnet is created. Let's first create a gateway subnet and let's deploy the gateway. Okay, now gateway service. See, there are two options, virtual network gateway and local network gateway. So first we need to configure the virtual network gateway and then we need to configure the local network gateway. So virtual network gateway. This is the subscription resource group. It will select automatically. So this is IBM-gateway. And what is the location? Is East US. East US. Okay, now again same option Microsoft is asking, like VPN gateway type. So there are two type of gateways, VPN gateway and express route gateway. So as we discussed, right, without a gateway you cannot have the express route. Okay, if you wanted to deploy express route, you should deploy a gateway first and then you can have the connectivity. So today we are going to discuss a VPN. That's why I'm going to select here VPN, because I wanted to configure the site-to-site VPN. That's why. Then VPN type is a route-based or policy-based. So when you configure the route-based VPN, so you can have the multiple connections, okay, between multiple data centers. So let me explain into the diagram. MS Paint. Okay, see, now this is your Azure infrastructure, all the applications hosted on Microsoft Azure. Okay, and you host branches across the globe. Okay, so this is branch 1, branch 2, branch 3, branch 4, branch 5. There are multiple branches and all the branches are getting connected with your Microsoft Azure with site-to-site VPN only. Okay, so if you have more than one connection, then Microsoft is asking to deploy a VPN gateway with the route-based policies. Okay, and policy-based VPN type, okay, where you can have a single connection only. So this is a difference between route-based and policy-based. So again, Microsoft is asking the SKU. The SKU is nothing but it's a type, which type you wanted to deploy. Okay, which model you wanted to deploy of VPN gateway. So Microsoft is offering from the basic VPN gateway 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the AZ. So what is AZ here? The zonal redundancy. So in when you deploy basic 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you will not get the redundancy. But when you deploy a VPN gateway 1 with the AZ, so Microsoft is offering the redundancy as well between multiple zones. So let me show you the exact difference between all the models, all the types. Azure VPN gateway SKU. See, this is a difference now. So when you deploy a VPN gateway with the basic SKU, so maximum you can have site to site 10 connections you can have. Okay, and point to site 120 people can connect at a time. Okay, by using the VPN client. So that particular option is not supported, which is IKV2 and OpenVPN connection. And this is the throughput, which is very low, 100 Mbps throughput you will get. So when you design the infrastructure, when you design the firewall, first you need to design the throughput, like you need to check how much throughput you are going to use. Okay, so it completely depends on throughput. So when you deploy VPN gateway 2, you will get the 1 Gbps throughput, VPN gateway 3 1.2. So as per your model, you will get the VPN gate throughput as well. See, VPN gateway 5, when you deploy, you will get the 10 Gbps throughput. Okay, it's completely depend on your requirement and your applications. So for our lab, we are going to deploy VPN gateway with the version 1, okay, where I will get here 650 Mbps throughput. So VPN gateway 1, generation 1, and now Microsoft is asking to select the virtual network which we have created. So we have created IBM VNet, and under the IBM VNet we have created one subnet, and see Microsoft has detected its subnet, gateway subnet. So if you do not have gateway subnet, then it will show here warning like there is no VPN, there is no gateway subnet is created. Now into the next point, Microsoft is asking to provide a name for the public IP object, because Microsoft is going to deploy one public IP in the backend, right? So HP gateway public IP, okay. Then you can use active mode as well. Again, this is a costly feature. So what Microsoft will do in the backend, Microsoft is going to deploy 2 VPN gateways in the backend with the active mode, okay, where you will get the redundancy every time within the data center. And if you are using the BGP routing, then you can use the BGP routing as well. So it completely depends on your network, like which protocol you are using. And let's create here. Let's create. Okay, so it will take around 20 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes to deploy. So meanwhile, we'll have one more infrastructure, which is HP. Okay, so I will log in into my another subscription, and then we'll deploy one more gateway.
Yogesh,
Yes,
for each virtual network will have only one VPN gateway, right?
yes, yes. You can
But
have only one VPN gateway for one VNet.
okay, but we can create multiple connections to that VPN, right?
Yes, yes. Okay, go to resource group.
So for this for this scenario, we also need two accounts
No,
to
no, you
practice.
can no. You can have a single account. Okay, we'll explain like how you can perform the same lab. Okay, just give me a minute.
Okay. Yep.
Like I have two different account, that's why I'm going to use. Okay, but in your scenario, you can use the same single subscription. Okay, and under single subscription, you can achieve the same lab. So this is HP infrastructure, right? And now I'm going to deploy under the West US. Any region we can select West US. Again, same thing. First, we need to design the network. So network is very important. Okay, before deploying the infrastructure, you have to design the network. So again, I have two subscription here. Okay, pay as you go, new HP VNet. 0.0/16. Like we are using 22 as right, 22 172 22. In management 172 22 1.0/24. Then under subnet, gateway subnet, deploy the gateway subnet, which is 2.0, and deploy the one more gateway.
Yogesh,
Yes.
what are these service endpoints which are mentioned here?
Service endpoint we will discuss. Just we'll start the deployment of gateway and then
Okay.
we'll discuss. Okay. So
Okay.
so still we are not discussed that endpoint. Okay.
All right.
We'll discuss it. Okay. Now let's go into the VPN gateway, virtual network gateway. HP-gateway West US. VPN gateway 1 generation 1 virtual network which we have created, which is HP VNet and HP gateway public IP PIP. That's it. Okay, let's deploy. Again, it will take 20 minutes, around 20 to 25 minutes. Okay, so meanwhile we can discuss the endpoints. No issues. Okay. Okay, now this is your Azure infrastructure. So as as we discussed multiple times, right? Network is a very important, right? So let's take an example like you have deployed one VNet. Let's see production VNet. production VNet, and that particular VNet is nothing but, let's take a simple example, 172 again, 172, let's say 30 0.0/16. Okay, and that particular VNet you're segregated with the multiple subnets. Multiple subnets. So let's take up example. This is your prod app server, okay, app subnet, which is 30.0, right? So this is your prod databases, different subnet you have created, which is 2.0. See your web servers, which is 3.0. Again, you have one more subnet, test subnet, we can say. Test subnet, which is your 4.0. Okay. Now, when you deploy any subnet, what Microsoft is asking, do you want to connect that particular subnet to any other Microsoft service? So as an example, here we can have a Azure storage account. Azure storage account as an example. Okay. As another example, Azure SQL service. Okay. Now there are multiple endpoints. So what we can do, we can configure the endpoint for that particular subnet, means that particular subnet can communicate with the storage account. That particular subnet only can communicate with the Azure SQL service. Okay, so you are going to restrict the service with that particular subnet, which only 172.30.1.0/24 subnet can use Azure storage account. 172.30.1.0/24 subnet can use your Azure SQL service. So this is the endpoint communication. So Azure storage account is acting as an endpoint. Your Azure SQL is acting as an endpoint for that particular subnet. I can demonstrate here. See, duplicate tab. So let's create one more subnet. Go to virtual network. Subnets, and under subnet, let's create one more subnet here. Let's see, this is my test subnet. Okay, and now test subnet is 3.0, and let's go into the endpoint services. See, so Microsoft SQL we can use as a endpoint, your Key Vault as an endpoint, Event Hub we can configure as an endpoint. So only that particular subnet will consume those Azure services. So this is the private connectivity, we can say. This is the private connectivity between your network and Azure service. Now, got the concept or any question?
No, got it. So if at all we need to maybe change in future that we don't want the private connectivity between this particular subnet and the service, we can change it, right?
Yes, we can change it.
Not
So
like
I can,
one.
I can give here one more example. Let's take an example. As a endpoint, I'm going to select a storage account. See, currently we do not have any storage account, but I have selected the storage account option here, and we have, okay, see, HP, there is no storage account, I believe. Test subnet 172.22.3.0/24. There is no storage account, that's why it is showing warning. Okay, so when you select your storage account, you need to select the storage account name as well, but currently we do not have any storage, but let's create it one storage account, okay, for your understanding. So we will not discuss any option from the storage account, so simply I will use the default options during the storage account creation. Your name should be the same, okay, so storage account name should be unique every time. And I'm going to have a version 1. What is RA, GRS, what is LRS? Okay, we'll discuss later with our scenario. Let's create it. Okay, now let's try to configure it. Subnet 3.0 service. This is the Azure Microsoft storage. Again, it will take some time to reflect here. Okay, so let's go into the diagram. We'll explain here only. Okay, so this is the Azure storage account, and under Azure storage account, this is your storage account, right? So let's take an example, like you are deployed one server here, and that server wanted to generate some logs, okay, on a storage account. So the server will generate all the logs on the storage account by using the backend connectivity of Azure. Okay, so that machine will not communicate with the storage from the front end, means via internet it will not communicate. It will communicate by using the backend network. Okay, and in such scenarios, then you have to configure the endpoints. Means that particular server will communicate with the storage account by using the backend network, backend connectivity.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so I wanted to add here one more point in our diagram. Like we have two infrastructure, right? IBM and HP. Now what we will do, I have physical data center as well. So this is my physical data center, and physical data center, under the physical data center, I'm using the physical firewall, FortiGate firewall. So this is the firewall. So this is FortiGate firewall. FortiGate firewall. Okay, so FortiGate firewall I have configured. So again, same thing for interface, WAN interface and LAN interface. So this is WAN interface. This is LAN interface. So LAN interface means LAN IP is of my firewall, which is 192.168.90.21. is the LAN interface. And what is the WAN interface IP? This is the WAN interface IP, and that particular public IP, okay, we have configured on a LAN interface. So this is a LAN IP, and this is a lease line. Actually, I have configured here lease line from U broadband. Okay, so this is my WAN IP. So what we'll do into the second scenario, okay, so first scenario we will communicate to infrastructure. In second scenario, what we'll do, we'll create a one more connection. We'll create a one more connection between on-prem to my physical data center. So this is the physical data center. This is my on-prem data center. Okay, so we'll create a one more connection between on-prem to cloud-prem. Okay, so this is the hybrid scenario. Like in on-prem, we are using a firewall. In Microsoft Azure, we are using the VPN gateway. So 192.168.90.21. Okay, let me connect. Okay, no issues. Then that configuration we will do it later. First, we'll focus on first lab. So any question here? Any doubt? Okay, so this is the VPN gateway, and that VPN gateway is deployed and configured into the IBM side. Let me check with the HP side. What is the status? Okay, so still it is pending. So we need to wait. And then we'll collect all the information, the public IP and local network, and then we'll create a connections by using the local gateway. Okay, so like we have deployed another gateway as well. So let's go step by step. Okay, so this is the IBM gateway, and we'll collect all the information, okay, into the notepad. Okay, so this is IBM gateway, and IBM gateway, this is the public IP which Microsoft is offering. This is IBM gateway. And what is the local network, means what is the backend network which we are using, okay, into the IBM. This is 172.21.0.0/16. Let me copy here. Okay, now at the another side, like we are using the HP gateway. So this is the HP gateway, and this is the public IP of HP gateway, and this is the HP VNet. This is the local network. This is the local network, right? Okay, now let's go into the IBM side first. Go to the VPN gateway. So this is the VPN gateway. So into the overview tab, all the information we will get, which resource group we are using, location, subscription ID, which SKU we are using, which type we are using, VPN route base we are using, network and public IP. And now there is a one more option here you will get as a connection. So connect, if you, when you configure the site to site VPN between two infrastructure, then we need to deal with the connection option. And if you wanted to configure the point to site VPN, then we need to deal with the point to site configuration option. Okay, so again, under the point to site configuration, there are three options. Okay, those options we will discuss probably next week. Azure certificate based authentication, Radius server based authentication, and Azure Active Directory based authentication. So we'll try to cover both Radius authentication and Azure Active Directory based authentication next week. Okay, so let's go into the connection, and let's create a connection between IBM to HP. So IBM to HP. So under the connection type, again you will get the three options. Which connection you wanted to create: VNet to VNet connection, or site to site, which is IPsec traffic, or express route connection. So VNet to VNet connection we can create between two VPN gateways, but the limitation here is those two VPN gateways should be deployed under the single account and single subscription. Then we can have a VNet to VNet connectivity. Then site to site. So we are going to use the site to site tunnel with the IPsec. So IBM gateway, virtual network gateway, automatically Microsoft has detected here, and local network gateway. So choose a local network gateway. So local network gateway is nothing but it's the information of your next hop. So what is the next hop for IBM? HP will be the next hop, right? So go to the local gateway, create a local gateway. This is my HP. So I'm going to I'm going to provide here all the details of the HP, because HP will be the destination for IBM. This is the public IP, and this is the network I wanted to allow. So go to add. So this is the pre-shared key, shared key. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Okay. So this is the IKV2 option, okay, where you will get the more security. And let's create a connection. So the same connection we need to create into the another site, which is my HP, right? So what we'll do before that, we will deploy two virtual machines for the testing purpose, and then we'll create another connection. So go to the home, virtual machine, see IBM-TS server to get well. IBM and management. See, also one more point I wanted to highlight, we cannot deploy the virtual machine under the gateway subnet. See, that's why it is showing here grayed out. See, the selected subnet is not supported for the virtual machine. Management. Let's review and create. And let's deploy one more virtual machine into the another site. $2K12 R2 data center, admin 100. Let me try one more time. Go to the Okay, HP VNet and management subnet. Okay, so this is our machine, Windows machine, right, which is created under the IBM infrastructure. We'll take the RDP. IBM hyphen server 172.21.1.4 we will get as a IP address. HP 22.1.4. Okay, so connection we have created, and let me check the virtual machine. IBM. Okay, so this is the IP address 21.1.4 and this is the public IP of the machine. Let's try to connect by using the public IP. What about the other VM? Still okay. So this is the other VM. Okay, so this is the IBM server, right? IP config. So this is 172.21.1.4. So what we'll do, we'll try to ping the another server which is 172.22.1.4. Okay. So currently we have not configured the connection at HP side, right? So we'll reconfirm the IP address first. .22.1.4. Okay, and now let's create a connection. Go to VPN gateway. HP gateway. Go to connections and create a connection HP to IBM. HP to IBM. Site to site. Local network gateway. So now here we need to provide the details of IBM. IBM. What is the public IP of IBM? And this is a local network. Okay. So which password we have provided?
Oh, 120.
120. 0. And let's see. Okay, after that we'll discuss like how we can achieve the same lab under the single account, single subscription. Okay, so connection is created, but again it will take 2 to 3 minutes to establish the connection between two sites. Now we are able to connect, right? Now we are able to ping as well to the HP server. Let's try to take the RDP of HP server by using the local IP 172.22.1.4. See, we are able to take the RDP connection as well. So any question here till any doubt till any question, any doubt?
So whatever architecture diagram means whatever you have created. So in AWS there was a feature that you can get a print of the architecture print where how is the flow going on.
Right,
so,
right.
Means here in I'm not sure, but in Azure we had seen that you can get that flow how it is going on. The diagram comes.
Yes. Into
Such
the Azure,
service?
there is a there is a service from Azure, blueprint service. You can get the blueprint of infrastructure.
Is that free or that is charged?
No, that is also chargeable. There is nothing is free.
So for this particular whatever we have done, so can we get that blueprint over here?
Yes. So that I need to check whether that service is whitelisted or not, because I am using the Visual Studio subscription. So this is not a pay as you go subscription. Let me check. Okay. Let me. Okay, so there is a one more feature which is network watcher. From network watcher also we can have small diagram topology. Subscription resource group virtual network. See the diagram you're looking, right, Irfan?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the VNet, IBM VNet. Under the IBM VNet, you have deployed two subnets, management subnet and gateway subnet. So under the gateway subnet, you have deployed the gateway. Under the gateway, we have created one connection, which is IBM to HP. And under the management subnet, we have deployed one virtual machine. This is the virtual machine, and that particular network card is getting connected to your subnet. This is the NHG and this is the public IP, IBM TS public IP. Okay. Okay. So any question till any doubt? Any question till any doubt? Okay, so what I will do, I will delete the HP infrastructure because I don't want it.
Sir,
Yes.
energy comes under that. Sorry. Virtual machine comes under energy group, no? It's showing.
No. See. As per diagram, your network card is getting connected to the management subnet. Your virtual machine is getting connected to the virtual network card. Your NHG is getting connected to the network interface, and your public IP also getting connected with the network interface. So virtual machine directly is not communicating with the subnet. Virtual machine is communicating with the subnet by using the network interface.
Okay, got it. Right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So into the second scenario, like as per the diagram, like in second scenario, we are going to create a one more connection between my physical data center. Okay. So that's in that particular lab. Okay. That HP infrastructure not required. So I will delete the HP infrastructure, and then we'll understand how you can achieve the same lab under the single subscription. So this is the HP one. Go to resource group. Delete it. Okay. Now, so how you will configure the same lab in a single subscription? Let me explain into the another diagram. Okay, so in your scenario, you have single account, single subscription. This is a single account, single subscription. So what you need to do, you need to create a two resource group between two different region. So first resource group, let's see, IBM resource group. And HP resource group. So IBM resource group you are going to create under the East US, and HP resource group you are going to create, let's see, West US. Okay. So this is a single subscription, single account only. You have created two resource groups. And then you need to define the VNet. VNet, which is 172.21.0.0/16. Then subnet management subnet is 1.0/24. Gateway subnet, which is 2.0. Management subnet, sorry, it's 1.0, your gateway subnet 2.0/24. It should here some 21. This is the 21. Okay. So under the gateway subnet, you are going to deploy gateway, and under the management, you are going to deploy one virtual machine. So this is a VM, this is a gateway. Same, you are going to configure into here as well, right? Okay, and then you are going to create a connection. Simple. And then your virtual machine can communicate with the other virtual machine. Is clear or any question?
Sir, geographical location, it will be different than any
Yes,
problem.
yes. You can
It should
have,
be the same.
yeah, you can use the same or you can use the different as well. No issues.
Different also. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So what we'll do, we'll take a break, 15-minute break, and then we'll have a next lab, which is on-prem to cloud-prem connectivity. Okay. So we'll back in 15 minutes. Okay, so let me know once you're back.
I'm here, Yogesh.
Okay, so can we start?
So, Yogesh, I'll ask a question in the meantime while others are not
Yes,
here.
yes,
So,
please.
I'm just sharing my screen.
Hmm.
So, as we discussed, I have created two VNets, one for HP and one for IBM.
Mm-hmm.
And now we need to create a virtual network gateway, right?
Right.
So when I click on this option, it doesn't really show the virtual networks that I have just created. So am I
So
missing something?
no. I believe you have created network. Okay, so it is not reflecting here. Just refresh and try to recreate.
Okay, it should come here. I was just trying to look for options here.
Hmm.
Uh,
No, just check the region that you're going to use the same region, West US.
uh, okay, let me. I think it was East US. That's the reason it's not showing.
Space East US. Yeah.
Okay.
You should get, yeah. This is,
Yes. Okay.
yeah,
Now I got.
IBM. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Okay. Okay, so let me share my screen and we'll understand like how we can build up the or how we can configure the firewall from the physical data center. Okay. So this is the very important lab, okay, to clear your interview. So let share the screen. Okay. Now as per diagram, go to the diagram. As per diagram, like we do not have HP infrastructure. We have only IBM and on-premises infrastructure. So in on-premises, like we have FortiGate firewall. That FortiGate firewall is configured with 192.168.90.21, and this is the LAN facing. This is the internet facing. Okay, this is the WAN. This is the LAN. So before, let me try to ping my firewall command line from my laptop. Okay, so ping IP config. Okay, so 2090.50 is my IP address. Okay, so which range I'm using into the on-premises, let me note it down here. So in on-prem, we are using 192.168.90.0/24 range. Okay, so this is my network. This is my on-premises network. 192.168.90.21 is my physical firewall, which is FortiGate firewall. FortiGate firewall. Okay, and 192.168.90.50 is my IP, is my laptop IP address. So let me try to ping 90.21. Yes, we are able to ping, right? So yet all we are not using, right? So let me sign out here. Let me sign out, and HTTPS 192.168.90.21 is my firewall. Okay, so admin, and this is the FortiGate firewall. This is an older firewall. Okay, this is an old operating system. I have not upgraded the firmware and BIOS, okay, of the firewall. This is a 60D model. Okay, so as per diagram, what we are going to do, we are going to create a connection between IBM to on-prem and on-prem to IBM, right? So go to the diagram now. So let me remove the HP part, or we'll have one more diagram. Do not have HP part, right? Okay, so this is my on-premises infrastructure. So this is firewall. Let me create a new one. This is on-prem. This is the FortiGate firewall. This is a WAN interface. This is a LAN interface. This is my LAN 192.168.90.21, and which is getting connected to my core switch. Okay, so this is the core switch which I have, network switch. So this is the connection. This is the connection. This is the connection. Okay. Now I have a lease line. I have ISP. U broadband is ISP. So that U broadband is getting connected directly into the my WAN interface. Okay. So this is a FC cable is coming from ISP, and that as FC that particular ISP is providing one router, and this is the FC connectivity, and from that router to my firewall WAN port, which is the normal cable, which is Cat6 cable. Cat6 cable. Okay. So this is a WAN port. This is a WAN port. Okay. And what is the IP which I have configured on my WAN port, which is this is the public IP, and that public IP that ISP has provided. Okay. Go to diagram. This is public IP. This is public IP. Okay. Now we are going to create a two connections. Again, same concept. IBM to on-prem. Okay, IBM to on-prem means in IBM, at IBM side, we are going to use Azure service, which is VPN gateway. And at the on-premises side, we are going to use a FortiGate firewall. Okay, now IBM to on-prem. Again, I need to create a one more connection. On-prem to IBM. In on-prem, we are using FortiGate. VPN gateway. Same concept. We need to exchange the information between two locations with the passcode as well. Okay. Now let's go into the my physical firewall first. So first we can have the connectivity between IBM to on-prem. So what is the IP address we are using into the on-premises? Go to gateway. Virtual network gateway. And what is the IP address of our virtual machine which we have created? So this is the IP address, right? 1.4. So it should ping, right? It should ping from my laptop. Okay, so let's go into the IBM gateway, go to the connection. So that IBM to HP is not required, right? That connection is not required. That's why I'm going to delete that connection. And I'm going to create one more connection add, which is IBM to on-prem. Site to site. So local network gateway. Again, that HP details not required. I'm going to create a new local gateway, which is on-prem. What is the IP address? Public IP of my on-premises, and which range I'm using into the on-premises. I'm using 192 range, right? This is the range. Okay. Say okay. Reset key 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0, and let's create a connection. Okay. Now I need to create one more connection at my on-premises site. So in on-premises, we are using a FortiGate firewall, right? So let's go here, FortiGate, try to log in, admin, and this is the password. Okay, so that particular part, okay, your network team will perform, your firewall team will perform. Okay, so go to the VPN, go to the tunnel. Okay, so this is the existing tunnel. So let me delete the existing entries. Okay, to Azure, so I need to delete those entries, then I can delete that particular tunnel. So internal to Azure, Azure to internal, let's delete it. So without those entries, we cannot delete the VPN tunnel. Okay, now again it is showing three entries. So IPsec interface to Azure, then address, which is local, that entry we need to delete it, and then static route. Okay, so go to the policy, objects, addresses, delete it, and let's delete the static route as well. Routing. Okay, so that particular route we need to delete it, static route. Okay, and simply we can go into the VPN connection, VPN tunnel, we can delete it directly. Okay, so there is no VPN tunnel. Okay, now let's create a new VPN tunnel. So I'm going to use the custom tunnel on-prem to Azure. So on-prem to Azure, what is the static IP from my Azure infrastructure? So VPN gateway, this is the public IP, right? So that public IP we have mentioned here. This is the public IP. Public IP and interface. So my all the traffic is getting redirected on my WAN port. Okay, that's why I'm going to select here WAN. Appreciate key 3456789 and IKV2 we are using. So we'll use only the one encryption mechanism. Then phase 2 Under the phase 2 also we'll use the same mechanism. It's not required. Okay, local ports. Okay, so all traffic I'm going to allow between two infrastructure. Say okay. On-prem to Azure, custom. Will hit on your WAN port directly. So let me save the settings and we'll edit it. Okay, so right click, edit. So this is a network settings we have configured. This is the authentication mechanism we have configured with the IKV version 2. Then this is a phase 1 with the required encryption level. Then under the phase 2 also we need to provide the same encryption level. Okay, with the default options. Okay, now once you create a tunnel, then we need to have a address. Okay, so let's create an address here. Its address is nothing but Azure -IBM. Okay, so what is the local address we are using? Any, we are using local address as a 172.21.0.0/16. Okay, so this is my IBM Azure VNet. Okay, so IBM Azure VNet we have created here with the destination details. Okay, with the destination details. Now let's go into the policy. Into policy, now we need to create two policies for incoming traffic and for outgoing traffic. So first we'll have a policy for the incoming traffic, and then we'll create a static route. So incoming traffic is hitting on my on-prem to Azure tunnel. Source all, source user not required, source device type not required. Outgoing interface, it will hit on my internal, means all the outgoing traffic will routed via my internal port. Destination all, always all services I'm going to allow. Action except. So that particular policy we have created. Any to any. Let me refresh here. This is on-prem to Azure, on-prem to internal. Okay. Now we can have one more policy with the reverse model, internal to on-premises. So this is internal internal to on-prem with all services except netting. Also I'm going to allow, is not required, but let's allow the netting as well. So source all, destination all. Okay, so two policy we have created here, on-prem to internal traffic and internal to my on-prem one. So go to the route and should configure the static route here. Under the routing, let's create a route. So my destination network will be 172.21.0.0/16, and all the traffic will route via that particular tunnel on-prem to Azure. So, okay. Okay, now let's go into the VPN option. From IBM side also we can check the connection status. Still it is showing not connected. Okay. So it will take some time to generate or create a tunnel. So refresh it. Let me check the policies once again and VPN connection as well. No, it should on-prem, right? It should 60. It should 60. Sorry, it should 60. Okay. Okay, it's connecting to the IBM. We cross verify the IP address from IBM connection as well. Okay, 192.91.158.16 is the correct IP. So all the traffic will hit on your that particular tunnel. All sources, outgoing traffic will routed via internal port. Destination always okay. Action will be the accept. Remove the netting. Actually, netting not required at all. And there is a one more policy internal to my on-prem. So all traffic will hit. So Azure IBM we have created 172.21.0.0/16. Okay, let me do the troubleshooting. So any question here till? Let me do the troubleshooting. Any question till? Any doubt? Any question till? I'm changing some parameters, okay, from the firewall side. Let me check. I have changed some encryption level, okay, as per the documentation. But let me check, okay, whether we can connect or not. The configuration is same only, okay, as per the documentation, but still we are not able to connect it. Let me refresh once here. This is subnet we have allowed, which is 172.21.0.0/16. Instead of all, we can have a specific address as well, which we have added. should work. Internal to on-prem. So here we have specified the destination address where we have configured 172.1. So via internal port, it will hit on my VPN port, which is on-prem to on-prem hyphen Azure with the particular range. So everything is correct here. Not sure why, what is the problem. To me, MSTSC. Okay, so from Azure side, let me delete the connection and let me create a new connection. Okay, let's delete the connection. And we'll create a local gateway as well. We'll recreate it. Okay, let's add here on-prem site to site. On-prem.
Try using a different name, Yogesh.
This is the different name only on-prem. Before we have used some IBM to on-prem. Okay, or we can say this is branch one. Okay, let's see branch one. Okay. Branch one and look, my on-prem IP is 192.191.158.60. So everything is configured as per requirement. Okay.
So that is a static IP. Yeah?
Yeah. That is a static public IP. Yes. Okay, IKV version 2 we are
Firewall
using.
is as firewall we have allowed any.
Yes. Firewall into the connection into the policy we have allowed any. Yes, everything is allowed here. See, under the policy there are two policies: incoming and outgoing. Okay, so this is internal to my Azure and Azure to internal. So source all, destination all, source all, or this is the specific network. Okay, which we have allowed. It should work. This is the
Sir, can
same.
you use
Okay. Yes.
yeah, try that one?
Preset key. Let me update one more time. Yeah, IKV2 we are using here. So 3 authentication mechanism. Okay. We are using advanced. It's good. So address also we have created in a required things. Create Azure to then IPv4 only. So this is a specific one, okay. When we select here some Azure IBM means this is a specific one. Okay, let's try once. Still it is updating. Okay, let me try once reboot. Okay, and if it is not, then we need to check. Okay, what is the problem? Dash. No, still it is showing unknown. Okay. So what we'll do tomorrow also we will connect on same time, and let me check. Okay, what is the problem? Okay, with the configuration, and tomorrow we'll try to complete point to site VPN. And anyways, tomorrow we are going to deploy a VPN gateway for the point to site. So that time we'll do the same thing again. Okay. So any question, any doubt till?
Tomorrow, same time, 12 or
Yes,
8 of
yes, same time, 12.
Hello, Yogesh.
Yeah.
Can we use the tracer utility to diagnose the issue?
No, tracert we can use it, but at that connection is not showing connected, right? So at least connection should show connected, right? So then we can check like where my traffic is going.
Okay.
Okay, so at least that connection should show connected here, right? So means my firewall is at all not communicating with the public IP which we have provided with from the Azure. Okay, so that my lease line is working properly. I have checked from the backend. Everything is working because I'm using the same internet from the lease line internet only I'm using. But let me cross check. Let me verify.
1 minute. Another question. I
Yes.
have a same firewall on in my premises. Can I
Okay.
create one VPN tunnel with from on premises to my free Azure account?
Yes, you can. You can create it. Yes.
That will work.
Yes. Definitely, it should work. It should work
It should
because
work.
I tried multiple times. Okay, multiple times I'm creating the connection, but not sure why it is not working today. So no issues. I will do the troubleshooting today. Okay, and then tomorrow we'll discuss on same. Okay.
Okay.
So tomorrow, what we are going to do first? First we'll have. See, tomorrow first we'll understand Azure point to site VPN. Point to site VPN. Now under point to site VPN, we are going to discuss two scenarios. Okay, so authentication. So first we'll understand Windows AD authentication with the Radius server, and second scenario we'll understand Azure point to site VPN. Azure point to site VPN, which is Azure AD authentication. Okay, so both we will discuss. Then we'll understand Azure load balancer, Azure LB, and we'll understand one more scenario, which is Azure site to site. Okay, which we are not completed today. Okay, site to site one. So this is the target, and before that I will do the troubleshooting as well. Why we are not able to connect it? Okay. Okay, so tomorrow we'll meet on same time. Okay, so I will share the updated link to you to join the session.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Yogesh.
Hey, thanks a lot. Yeah.
Thank you.